Title doesn't do it justice, but I don't want it to be super long. Last weekend, she was late and worried. Talked to her nurse friend and decided to take a test. It was negative. However, we were both worried and she asked before the test, what if it's positive? Some background, my GF is very vocal about how she doesn't want to have kids at least right now. But maybe one day. I would say multiple times a week she brings up the fact that she doesn't want kids and the lives of her best friends who have kids now is so sad. She is also pro-choice. Given that information, I asked, well, would you want to have an abortion? That was the first thing I said to her. I wasn't prepared for the question and have never been in this spot before, and in the moment it just seemed like a reasonable question to ask while my mind was racing. I also actually do want kids and have told her before. I thought of it just like, okay, we have two options and I know you don't want to have kids, so do you want to get an abortion? I understand now that was probably fucking stupid and I wish I could go back and put the words back in my mouth and have them come out differently, at a different time, or not at all. She is disgusted that I said that. I swear I didn't have hurtful intentions with it. I love her dearly and the last thing I want is to hurt her. I guess I am just wanting to know if and how I can make up for this, especially from women. I think she is about done and can't get over it, but is coming over to talk after work. I love her and do not want to lose her over this, but prepared that I might. I just want an outside perspective. Thank you, and I already feel pretty stupid, so please don't pile on too hard. TLDR, GF asked what if a pregnancy test was positive. I responded with, do you want to get an abortion? Woman here. I don't see the big deal with the question. She is adamant about not wanting kids right now. Your response seems okay to me. You weren't saying you wanted her to get one, or telling her what she should do. You were putting it in her court. You can't win this with her. I'm sorry. Greater than she is adamant about not wanting kids right now. Me thinks the lady doth protest too much. She may bring it up all the time because she really does want kids, but isn't ready to own that yet. She also wanted Op to own her true desires for her, and to propose keeping a surprise pregnancy. She was freaking out and being avoidant. I doubt there was anything you could have said that wouldn't have got turned around. It was a trap question. Nothing you said other than, what would you want to do? Would have been right. Hopefully she will not ruin your relationship over this, but maybe after all her no kids talk she was just a tiny bit excited about maybe being pregnant. As a woman, I don't see anything wrong. If she constantly talks about how she's not ready for kids, an abortion would probably be one of the logical answers. This sounds like a good time to talk about what she would want to do if she did get pregnant though. I have been there and further, meaning actually finding out I'm pregnant. My then partner knew my stance beforehand, so he just answered with consolations and then I'll be there when you get the abortion. That was fine. That was great. It was what we had planned, so even though it was a big decision his answer was beyond reasonable. However, OP's GF may be emotional because of the scare, and the situation may have prompted her to question her stance on abortion. Still not a reason to get upset about Op's words. You'll need to do some thorough talking. Greater than I understand now, that was probably fucking stupid. No stupidity here. What else were you supposed to say? Don't see anything stupid about it. You asked her what she wanted to do. Maybe could have phrased it better. You already expressed you do want to have kids, and she has expressed she is not ready. Maybe a better way phrase it or answer would have been to say something like, I'll support whatever choice you make. As a woman, I too don't understand why she had such an extreme reaction. It's just a question. But otherwise just say it was ill-phrased and you didn't fully think it through before asking. And of course that whatever she decides, you'll be okay with. It's her body after all. Her reaction had me scratching my head. Like, what was she expecting to be asked? I wonder if there's other situations where she has responded like this. There is nothing wrong with what you said. Sit her down and talk to her about this. It sounds like you answered based on how your J thinks she would have wanted. I would definitely clear the air. I genuinely don't see what she's angry about. I'm also a woman. I'm guessing that she has these uneven reactions to logical answers, statements all the time, but this is just the one that has really stuck out for Op. Some people just like to manufacture drama to give themselves the upper hand in the relationship. Can't be the one in charge if you're constantly trying to get back in your SO's good graces after saying something that's allegedly hurtful, inconsiderate, or mean. I think what people fail to understand when it comes to a situation like this, it's not the sentiment and the plans that matter in that moment, or that person needs support. They don't want to feel pressured in either direction. They want to feel so they have control over a situation that they didn't plan. Logically speaking, because you've had this discussion before, this shouldn't be an issue, but in the heat of the moment it's not about logic. It's about making it known that you are emotionally available to take care of her. Sit down with her and explain to her that when the issue arose you panicked. Explain to her that your knee-jerk reaction was to try and look for a solution instead of supporting her in the moment, and that you understand that your reaction didn't make her feel supported. Tell her that since you had discussed this before and since you respect her choices and decisions, you wanted to make it clear that her choice was the first option. She asked you before she even bothered with a pregnancy test. I say this as a woman, and a pregnant one at that. That question was a trap. What was the point of agonizing, obsessing, involving her friend, and flipping her shit at a loaded question? Pregnancy tests are cheap, easy to use, and wildly available. All of this could have been easily avoided. She chose to start a fight over nothing because drama was more important than actual answers. I would have a hard time moving past this. What kind of person would rather manufacture a pregnancy scare than take a freaking test? Greater than what kind of person would rather manufacture a pregnancy scare than take a freaking test? Someone who wants kids but is too much of a coward to bring it up, so they're testing the waters instead. I think we can all sit here and say that she's overreacting. But if she really didn't want kids and found out she's pregnant, everything is scary. She's hurt because she's scared, and when you're in the situation you react differently than you would if you were completely logical. Logically, yes, she's overreacting and you couldn't have known her reaction. However, emotionally she just needs support. Your question wasn't inappropriate at all. You didn't tell her she should get an abortion, you asked her if she would want to. She's pro-choice, she doesn't want kids right now. It's a completely reasonable question. Why is she disgusted? So she's pro-choice and you both know neither of you want a kid right now. She's a drama queen. Don't feel bad or beat yourself up. As someone who is biologically female, 22 NB, and terrified of pregnancy, I think it's good that you prioritized her body and choice before your own desire to have kids. I am young, so take my word with a grain of salt, but I also have a long-term partner of 6 years, and I would hope if I became pregnant he would help ease my anxieties as the first response before offering solutions. Abortion is a confronting option no matter if it's the better option. Medical procedures are always tough, but as long as you comfort her and tell her you love her and would work with her through a hypothetical pregnancy, there's room to fix this. I'm much older than you and totally agree with this. His first response was essentially, "What do you want?" Not what he wants. To me, it sounds like she was testing you. She is pro-choice, obsessed with not having a baby right now, yet she gets upset when you suggest abortion to a sudden question before the test was done. Yeah, to me she was testing you and expected you to say you'd want to keep the baby and support her. Maybe she was under stress and that's why she reacted that way, but still, you didn't do any wrong in my opinion, and she should be clear about what she expects from you. I'm having some trouble understanding exactly why she's mad. Can you or her even articulate the actual offense in your question? Wasn't she the one who first led with a hypothetical question before you even got the results? Were you supposed to read her mind and see what she expected? I just don't get this oversensitivity. You were discussing the possibility of pregnancy and all nature of these questions should be on the table, including abortion. What is the problem here? All I see is a hysterical, unreasonable 29 years old unable to express her emotions and immediately resorting to anger at a non-issue. But of course anything you say will be given the latest descriptor of asterisk. You're invalidating my feelings asterisk. WTF. Couples need to discuss these scenarios before they have sex. Waiting until a pregnancy scare is locking the barn door after the horse is stolen. They did. I don't see anything wrong with that, and to me it seems like you're being very respectful of her feelings on not having kids despite the fact that you do want kids. It shows that the first thing coming to your mind is her choices and feelings on it instead of yours. I'd be so glad if I was in the same situation and my partner respecting my choices first and helping me through it. You asked a very valid question. She's pro-choice, so you asked about her choice. I imagine you two haven't been trying for a baby, so as a surprise situation, you'd want to know where the cards are being placed. Also, if you want kids and she doesn't, why are y'all even together? I'm a woman, and I think your response in the moment seems logical based on the context you provided. I also don't want to have biological children and am very vocal about that. I think if my boyfriend said this to me, I would only view it as him presenting options, like you said. She may have just been emotional in the moment and maybe that's why she felt hurt by your words. Although I feel like there might be something else she's upset about and not telling you, because her reaction seems slightly unwarranted. Especially after she's been open about not wanting kids and being pro-choice. Hopefully you're able to get to the root of the problem. She low-key sound manipulative. Your GF is dumb. She's arguing with you over hypothetical children you aren't going to have with her anyway. This is just irrational nonsense. It doesn't matter if you asked if she would have an abortion she wasn't pregnant. You did nothing wrong. I'm a pro-choice feminist, and with that said I also believe that men have every right to voice their opinion. They don't have the right to force a woman into anything, but that's clearly not what's happening here. Considering your previous discussions, it's not weird that you thought this was an okay thing to say. And even if you guys never had a discussion around it, you would still have the right to say that, but maybe in a bit more sensitive way. If I want to play devil's advocate and think from the girlfriend's perspective, it is really scary to think that you might have to go through an abortion even if you in theory are okay with them. I'm a nursing student and I can tell you that even early abortions are a fairly terrible experiences. They hurt so bad that you need morphine, you risk infection and you bleed for about a month straight, and during that time you can't have sex, wear tampons, put anything up there because then you risk dangerous complications. Facing that could make anyone a bit sensitive, and I could imagine getting upset if my man told me to that if he said it in a "this is so easy" type voice, if you know what I mean. I hope you guys figure it out though. It seems like miscommunication, not something to end a relationship over. Greater than I love her and do not want to lose her over this. That's all you should say. All that matters. An apology without explaining yourself. Apology for what? He literally had her wishes in mind when asking. With her behavior every answer could have been wrong. And an empty apology is worthless and creates even more problems, especially after the previous reaction. Looks like no way to win to me. Even girls that say they'd get an abortion want to see what you say and how you'd react in a pregnancy scare. The only right answer is, we'll figure this out together.